It was really out of a simple conversation I was having with Kevin Feige one day. We were walking across the studio lot, and he was on his way to one meeting. I was on my way to another meeting, and we bumped into each other. And we just started talking, and he was saying, so much going on here, this and that. And he said, if you want to, if you're going to direct something, what would you want to do? And I was instantly just said, I'd want to do Werewolf by Night. And he looked at me like, wait, really?
Hello and welcome to the movie podcast. My name is Count Shahbaz, and joining me on this very special episode for our viewers and our listeners going in and out of accents from the Transylvania area, I am joined by Count Daniel.
Hello there, everybody.
I feel like you were like kind of deciding like, oh, what voice am I gonna go with, and you stuck the landing on that one, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. I was trying to see how deep I could go. I was gonna be like, no. I was just wanted to be just just a bass wave,
just like Barry White, I believe,
just like a rumble, just like I can't even. And then I'm like, no, let's go high. Let's go higher in the voice.
let's go really high. Do something like talking in Transylvania.
I don't think that's how they talk in Transylvania, but I will commend you.
I've never been there.
What was funny because I love that you caught yourself slipping into a different accent because your voice started off deeper and then it was like, and then all of a sudden it turned into like a Russian accent with a deep voice, and then you kind of brought it back. It was good, but I love that you were aware of it and what was happening in real time.
Well, see, the thing is, I was being possessed and you didn't come and help me, so I guess real friends, how many of us, That's what I always ask.
Not many. Not many.
Nah, you were just sitting there. You were like, he could be dying for all I care, but I won't help him.
But I'll let him finish the intro because it sounds good.
It does. It did sound pretty good. And if you have heard of this show before, welcome back, because we're always happy to welcome you right back in and pop this in your ears. But if it's your first time, well, then let me introduce us, because we are the Movie Podcast. We drop episodes pretty much every day at this point. Except weekends, we take the weekends off. We want to have a nice little relaxed weekend. But every day we're dropping reviews, we're dropping interviews, just like this one, and also just main episodes as well. Main episodes, though, those are strictly for Monday. So start your week off right. And make sure you're following us at the Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Letterboxd, and you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars if you can afford it. Guess what? It costs $0 to even drop 5 stars. All you got to do is open up your phone, go to the app, hit 5 stars, and say, and if you want to leave a comment, please go ahead and do. People love leaving us comments, whether it's mean, whether it's nice. We love reading it because the mean ones really make us laugh, I'll be honest, and the nice ones really make us cry.
Do you remember when you would see commercials growing up and you would see like, ask your parents if it's okay before going online? Like, do you remember? Like,
yes, always.
Do you remember those ones?
At the end of, like, for some reason, like a Harry Potter movie commercial, it'd be like, AOL keyword, ask your parents before you go online.
Yeah. Like it's just funny. But you mentioned leaving a review, Shade. I actually have a review that I'd love to share with you right now, if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm excited.
We had a lovely write-in earlier this week. It says, "Hi guys, I just want to say thanks for all your work. I love your podcast and they keep me entertained whilst landscaping here in South Wales, UK. Cheers, Jason." So thankfully, Shay didn't
my Welsh accent.
I was going to say, thankfully, Shay did not do a Welsh accent at the beginning of the show to offend him.
Can't do that one. I can't do a Welsh accent. But hey, was it Jason? I believe you said?
Yes, it was Jason.
Jason, while you're landscaping, please, first of all, thank you for your service. Second of all, please go ahead and send us a voice note with your Welsh accent, because we want to hear it. I mean, we have these boring Canadian ones. I think North American accents are probably the most inferior accents, because
the most vanilla,
just like
right?
Vanilla, right?
Yeah.
That's why I try to spice things up here every couple episodes.
Right.
Throw in something that people don't expect.
It's true, but I like
people.
Jason.
I think expect that now.
Yeah, Jason. Though, thank you so much for writing in again. Like I think sometimes for us, it still blows our mind. Of course, it blows our mind every single time we get somebody writing in and letting us know that they spend time listening to us, and to hear someone across the pond, across an ocean, is listening to what we're doing. It's very cool, but it's also like, oh wow, we're reverberating that far out. You know what I mean?
Right. We're like, while Jason's going away applying his plaster. I don't know. Do they apply plaster? I don't know.
I'll be honest. I'm not entirely sure what's all encompassing in landscaping, because there's probably a lot to it, right? I can't
probably.
do it. I'm not that person.
I ain't a landscaper.
No, the most I could do
podcaster.
is that's it. The most I'll do is like mow a lawn. That's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, and you know the best part about my lawn is I don't only have one. My mom changed it all to like just art. So hey, no mowing lawns for me, which is
there
great.
There you go.
Yeah, but really quickly, I thought you were gonna read one of our mean comments because I was really excited for that too.
I could read a mean one. Do you want me to read a mean one as well, Shay?
Why not? Read a mean one because we want to also we want to be transparent with our audience. We get good comments and we get mean comments.
And we want to, you know what? We want to stay humble, right? We want to stay humble.
All of these humble us so quickly as well.
So this is a 2-star review. So they still liked us a little bit. This is
I like their non-committal to hating us.
Just a little bit. Okay. This is coming from LJ Scott via Apple Podcasts in Australia. Again, we're reaching out. There you go. There's that accent again.
Maybe that's why they only gave us a 2-star.
Keep that smile though as I read this. And again, we're not making fun of this comment. We're just you got to roll with it because this is part of being.
It's part of life.
Internet.
Yeah.
The title of this review is called "Movie Podcast" in quotes, with an identity crisis. And they went on to say, incredibly lackluster podcast whose only unique selling point is an overcrowded market is that it seems far more interested in television than film. The host's disingenuous positivity and slickness make this even more unlistenable for spoilt for choice cinephiles. Now, no, again, let's
break that apart.
So this interview today is for a made for streaming service. It's a made for streaming service film. Sure.
You're right.
So they got us there. You got us.
You got
also,
us. We should have also clarified it.
Disingenuous positivity and slickness. That's where I disagree, because I think our positivity is always genuine. Not disingenuous.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. Maybe they haven't heard all of our episodes because clearly they went to only the TV once, I guess. Yeah. Calling ourselves like the movie TV, like a really long name would have been a great idea. We just really assumed the audience would have gotten it. If we called ourselves the Movie Podcast, we assumed that they would just be like, hey, it's their show. They can talk about TV if they want to. But hey, for Mr. LJ?
LJ Scott. LJ Scott.
I'm sorry, we didn't realize you needed a lot more hand-holding, so we could have given you a longer name. And next time we will give you a longer name if that's necessary. But the disingenuine happiness is what bothers me, because you, Daniel, are a very genuinely happy guy and you're genuinely a nice person. And me, like, I'm nice. I know when I'm nice and I know when I'm an asshole. And I feel like when I'm mean, and it's pretty obvious. But when I'm nice, like we like to talk about the positives of movies. There's so much negative out there. You see, like, you literally go on Twitter and you'll see like a bunch of articles or a bunch of Twitter accounts just like creating like these horrible, like, especially like don't even look that far. You go to She-Hulk, go to Rings of Power, and you're already seeing men on the internet absolutely berating women and talking about the worst possible things for no reason at all. We're not those kind of people. We're genuinely happy whenever someone gets a green light on anything, whether it's to make a movie, whether it's to make a show, whether it's to make whatever it is. And if they put their heart and soul into it and it doesn't come out well, that sucks. It really does suck when someone makes something that isn't great. But we're going to talk about what's great about it still, because guess what? In that 90 minutes or 120 minutes, there's going to be something we enjoyed, no matter how bad something is. And we'll talk about that. We won't ignore the fact that it's also not great, but why bring them when they're down? Talk about the positives of something. The world needs more positivity. It's just what we're trying to do.
I think you said you summed up everything that I wanted to say so well there, Shay. At the end of the day, you do not have to look far for a negative opinion. Yes, we'll have critical opinions on the show, but that's always been our mantra from day one on our show: is be critical, don't be negative. Be honest, but don't be mean. Those are the mantras of our show that we follow by. And yes, guess what? We're going to talk about TV shows because there are so many incredible ones. When you look at what we've gone this year alone in television, and along the film side, there is no shortage of film coverage on the Movie Podcast. So just always keep that in mind. Yes, we have a lot more episodes now than we did before. But that's because we want to be able to talk about so much more, because there's so much amazing shows, there's so many amazing movies that we'll be able to talk about. So let's shine a light on them. And yes, there's not going to be things that we're going to be in love with all the time, but we can still talk to them, as we said, critical, not negative, honest, not mean. That's who we are. And, if we're lackluster, you know what, maybe we'll win you over down the road. But as Shay said so brilliantly, I think, a couple weeks ago to me, like, our door's always open. So if you want to stay, great. If you want to leave and come back, we'll still be here. So if you want to join us, we're here. Appreciate always you taking the time to even listen and to leave a comment. We got 2 stars. So maybe next time.
Yeah, that's one for each of us.
One for each of us on this episode right now. One. Yeah. maybe next time you'll let us know what you do like about our show. So we'll see.
Yeah. Look, man, I get it. You're in Australia. There's a lot of these hunter spiders going around, and you're probably like running from them and scared. So I don't blame you. But honestly, like, thank you though. Honestly, genuinely, LJ Scott, thank you for leaving a comment. Thank you for leaving a review. And I'm not going to say I'm sorry that we didn't live up to your expectation. I'm not sure what your expectation was. But hey, if you stick around and keep listening to our episodes, maybe you'll find something you like. And if you don't find something, that's okay.
That's
maybe
okay
down
too.
the road. We're going to be here for a long time, no matter what you say. We're going to be here for a very, very long time. So, hey, come back in a few years. Maybe you'll like what we're doing then.
Yeah. Let's talk about some cool stuff, though.
If you like what we're doing, though, you should check us out on YouTube, because guess what? That's where you can see Daniel is right now currently working on the Movie Podcast Studio. He's bringing it from the dead, I believe. You're reviving it. You've been chanting many satanic prayers to it.
Yeah, you know how like when Wanda uses, like, when she studies magic from the Darkhold and her fingertips turn black? That's what my walls are black right now, because I just
and your eyelashes have been even darker at the very end.
So Movie Podcast Studio is under renovation right now. We're almost there. We'll almost be back in here recording together, but it's getting somewhere. It's looking good. I'm really liking the way it's looking. And with this orange shirt, on an earlier episode this week, you called me a jack-o'-lantern, and I'm going to stick with that.
Dan-o'-lantern, I guess.
Dan-o'-lantern, yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Look, we've already gotten a comment that we take way too long to get to our interviews.
It's true.
And that I don't want to, we'll read that comment one day as well. I don't want to take too long, because we have a very, very special, we have very special interviews. We have very special conversations today with the team over at Marvel Studios for Werewolf by Night. We're talking to the director and composer, and spoiler alert, at this point, you can say, well, no, they said it.
He said it. He said it. Michael Giacchino is a friend of the show.
He said, friend of the show. He recognized us. He remembered us. He knew. He was like, "You bastards!" And I'm like, "Whoa, take it easy there, Michael.
Hey.
Is that not how you talked? I can't remember.
No, you turned it like to like Patton Oswalt. No, sorry, not Patton Oswalt. Oh my God, Oswald Cobblepot. I don't know why.
I just mentioned Patton Oswalt as the Penguin now.
No. Hey, be a great Penguin. No, Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, like in the Batman.
Oh, yes,
Take it easy, sweetheart.
Hey.
Also, Michael Giacchino did the score for that too.
Oh,
crazy.
Michael, damn, and yeah, okay, that's true. And Brian Gay, the producer, one of the producers from Werewolf by Night, along with one of the stars of Werewolf by Night, Laura Donnelly.
Yeah.
So grateful for them to talk to us. Daniel, how do you think this went?
I think it went wonderful. Honestly, I think we got to speak to Michael first and joining the room, and he had a little smirk on his face. He's like, like that Robert De Niro gif, like you. He
also he just liked our tweet right before that too.
He did. Yeah.
So I think that's why he was like,
oh, these guys. Yeah. No, but it's awesome, and it's Michael Giacchino has been one of my favorite composers, of all time. He's up there. He's like top 3 for me, probably number 2. He's probably, it's like John Williams.
Don't rank him.
No, but I think he'll be okay to be beside John Williams and Hans Zimmer.
So.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Michael Giacchino has he's made my favorite score of the year with the Batman score, and now Werewolf by Night, which we loved, which was so cool. It's awesome. And then getting to talk with Brian and then with Laura, it's like these opportunities are always things that we are just so appreciative for. And obviously it's no secret how much we love like Marvel Studios and what Marvel's doing. So getting to be part of this is always special for us. So thank you to Disney for making this happen for us. Shay, how are you feeling though?
Super grateful to Disney, of course. No, I'm feeling great. I don't want to take up too much time, but all I want to say is Werewolf by Night will be available on Disney Plus October 7th. This is a Marvel Studios special presentation. So is it a movie? Is it a TV special? LJ, whatever your name is, LJ Scott, let us know what you think. And maybe we'll base everything off of that from now on. But let's get to our conversations now.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
We're doing great. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Shahbaz.
And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. The film is so great. And I just wanted to let you know that at the very beginning, because it was such a fun watch. And especially going into the spooky season, it's like you guys are dropping this at the absolute perfect time.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so glad to hear you guys liked it. And I'm glad it's getting you in the mood.
Definitely. Definitely.
Now, Werewolf by Night has been a long time coming. Why is this now the right time to release this project and unleash the wolf at night?
We had always been looking for like the right time and the right project, and how do you introduce Jack? And what was fun about this is with Disney Plus, we get the opportunity to, I don't want to say do whatever we want, but in a sense, we can change how long we want to be. We can spend 10 episodes with something, 6 episodes. We can make a movie. We can make a special. And that's what it was. And with this, we knew that with the world of monsters and the world of this concept, that there's been something lurking underneath the MCU this whole time, felt like we needed to open that door and introduce that idea. And with a special, you get just a little taste, just a little appetizer, but you know that there's something bigger out there. And for introducing Jack, nothing seemed like a better option.
Yeah, and visually, it really is unlike anything we've really ever seen in the MCU. And I think, Michael Giacchino, obviously, who's done such incredible work for you guys on the score side, now coming into the directing side, is what a first effort that was for him in the MCU. It was absolutely amazing.
Michael was incredible, and Michael's sensibilities from being a composer translated wonderfully to directing. I tell this bit that at the start of meetings, if we're discussing a sequence or a scene or getting ready, he would sometimes just play 45 seconds of music, turn to everyone and be like, that's how I want it to feel. And because music is such a emotional but shared language, everyone's like, I get it. I now know what I'm doing. Like, it was a great way to approach the project.
That's smart.
I love that. Now, this film is also very scary. And I'm just curious for yourself, what was that film for you growing up that really just scared the pants off of you growing up?
So for me, it was The Sixth Sense, and the reason is because my sister and I snuck into it. So I missed the first few minutes where they sort of lay out that he might already be dead. So let me tell you, that really changed the rest of the movie. And I was like, why is this guy seeing good? What's going on? What's happening here? For my formative little brain, I mean, that was a lot. But that there's just something about the knowledge of what you can see and what you can't see. Right. And that was something Michael wanted to do with this particular project. He's like, seeing something scary, but not seeing something is way scarier.
Oh, yeah.
So we tried to do a little hide and play in the shadows.
Definitely.
Now, do we see any more special presentations coming down under this new banner? Like, can we see more of Jack Russell, maybe?
So you will get one more this year. We're doing a Guardians holiday special. And that will be something exciting, something that's out there. And then for the future, I think there will be more I can't share at this time, but I think it's an exciting style to play in with, something that is a little bit less than a movie and gives you just a taste of something exciting that's out there.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so much to look forward to, obviously, in the grander MCU, especially this year with Wakanda Forever, then the Guardian special later this year. So we're just living in a great time, and we're just so grateful that you guys are kind of firing on all cylinders, and films, Disney Plus, and everything in between. So thank you so much for your time, Brian. We are so excited to see what you get to work on next, and just see what's coming down the road for Marvel. So thank you.
Thank you guys. Enjoy.
Take care.
Hi, Laura. My name is Shahbaz.
And I'm Daniel.
How are you?
Hi, Shahbaz and Daniel. How are you doing?
Good. How are you today?
Really well, thank you. Very well.
Awesome. Well, we loved Werewolf by Night, and we loved the performance in it. And we got to say that, Elsa's motives are very personal, which kind of sets her apart from the rest of the hunters in that group. What did you love about Elsa? And, what made you want to join the project?
Well, it was very much that. It was the fact that she is, we know the Elsa of the comics, and how fierce and competent and how much of a badass she is. But I loved that I was going to get to explore a side of her that wasn't necessarily 100% there yet. That she has she has there's a development in this character, and she's beginning somewhere slightly more vulnerable, and she has this whole backstory that we get hints at, and hopefully there is kind of more to explore there. But I knew all of that, was able to bring that in without it being stated or without it being the story of the piece. So to have all of that, have those layers and that complexity in a character, but to come in and just tell this one little, contained, like kind of hour-long story, it was just really fun. And probably would have done anything that they wanted me to do in the MCU, but the fact that it had this vintage horror element was like really right up my street.
Definitely. And I think that's what's so fun about this film is that, we're seeing Marvel like we've really never seen them before. This is so different from anything that we've seen. Yeah. And it also is very scary as well, too. So I'm just curious for you, what was that film for you growing up that just scared the hell out of you? That was just like, I don't want to go near this anymore. This just changed who I was as a human being. Yeah.
I mean, I watched all of those Hammer horrors and the Universal monster movies and everything when I was growing up, mainly because my big sister was hugely into them, and so I had to watch them because she had control of the TV, and I loved them, but I wouldn't say most of them really frightened me, because I actually found them kind of really comforting, and I loved that aspect, which I think we have in this, which is that there is always a metaphor there for the monster, and people are battling internally, and the external monster being the literal version of that. But I would say the thing that probably first really terrified me was The Omen, because it was the psychological aspect to it, and I always found that is so much more scary. And Michael, our director, and I had chatted about that, and how we both love that in horror movies, that the idea of what you don't see can be so much more potent than what you do see. And that definitely was, I think, very behind the decision of how exactly we see the transformation and the reveal of what we do see. It's kind of slow and left a lot in the imagination.
It is. It really is. And there's some moments in this film that truly are just mesmerizing to watch, but also just so haunting. I think that will really stick with us. Yeah. You mentioned, this is Elsa just at the beginning of her journey. Is there another character in the MCU that you would love to see her share the screen with?
Oh gosh, that's good. I'm not sure. I mean, what I would actually really love to explore going forward is more of her relationship with Jack, because I think that we're only just seeing the beginning of that. It's just something that's blossoming, and I don't know what that would turn into, but I would be really interested in finding that out. And I loved working with Gael so much. I thought we had a really, a really great kind of really collaborative time together, and he's such a fantastic actor. So I would be really happy to keep going down that route.
Yeah, we'd love to see them again together.
Well, again, we share the same fear of The Omen, but thank you so much again for joining us on the show today. And we can't wait to see where Elsa pops up next and what else you do in the future also.
Oh, thanks so much. Lovely chatting to you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm great. How are you both?
We are doing wonderful. Excellent. It is so nice to see you again. And thank you so much for returning to the Movie Podcast. I know last time we spoke to you, we had a little bit of technical difficulties that we got to talk to you twice for Lightyear. Yeah. But technically, you are our first repeat guest, so it's an honor for us. So thank you. Thank you.
Actually, technically 3 times.
Technically 3 times, right? So I can't wait to make it 4.
So I believe that puts me in the friend of the show category.
We will only be introducing you as friend of the show from now
on. So
thank you for that. Michael, Werewolf by Night is fantastic. We both loved it, and this has been something that has been teased for a long time now. Now that you're able to go full moon on this answer, how did you first become involved with the project?
It was really out of a simple conversation I was having with Kevin Feige one day. We were walking across the studio lot, and he was on his way to one meeting. I was on my way to another meeting, and we bumped into each other. And we just started talking, and he was saying, so much going on here, this and that. And he said, if you want, if you're going to direct something, what would you want to do? And I was instantly just said, I'd want to do Werewolf by Night. And he looked at me like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, where'd that come from? I'm like, I loved it as a kid. I feel like that's a whole unexplored area of the Marvel universe that we haven't delved into yet. It's time to do it. So he was like, that's really interesting. And then we just kept talking more and more about it. And then the next thing we're hiring writers and this and that. And it just kept, going downhill, and there we were. So, but it just came out of a simple conversation of us talking about what we were both working on, what we were doing. I had said I had just finished this short that I directed. He goes, "Oh, what else would you want to direct?" It really was just out of a conversation.
That's amazing, and what a project to start. And I think like the time it's releasing, obviously it's perfect for Halloween.
Yeah.
But also just the visuals in this film are beautiful. And I was telling Shay, like, something that stuck with me was the sousaphone on fire, which is also something that when we're seeing like your composer card at the end too, I'm like, that's the image you use. It was just it just stuck with me. So it just really, really cool.
Well, actually, the guy who played the sousaphone, his name is David Silverman. David Silverman, look him up. He was the first person hired on The Simpsons, and he is really largely responsible for so much of the look of that show.
Wow.
And he has been working on The Simpsons since day one, still is today. And he's an incredible artist and just a great all-around guy. But he does play that flaming tuba, and we go to Burning Man together. And I'll play drums and he'll play the flaming tuba. And I was just like, you got to be in this. We got to make this happen.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Well, Michael, you're the first MCU director to also compose the score for their film. Now, how did that change the process from when you were directing the movie?
It's been it was really fun to do, because the way that we edited the film, my editor, Jeff Ford, who we've done 5 movies together prior to this, he's one of the greatest editors on the planet, bar none. He would be in one office. I would be in an adjacent office where I work, and we would go back and forth. And I would be in the edit room with him. We'd be cutting scenes together, and I'd be like, hold on a second. I'd run back to my office. I'd write a cue, bring it back in. We'd throw it in, and we'd be able to just like instantly know what was going on if we needed to adjust picture or adjust, music. And it was such a fun process. It really felt like 2 kids just in the basement making a movie. Like, it really brought it down to that level of filmmaking. And it was so fun. I was a little worried at first, because normally I have the director to sort of bounce the ideas off of, and and we sort of collaborate in a way. And in the beginning I thought, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. If I, it's one thing to do a short, but to do an extended thing like this, I didn't know. But Jeff was such a great person to bounce everything off of, and we just had a blast.
Well, that's really cool. Because I mean, yeah, you like you mentioned, you've worked with so many great directors over your career. Did you ever turn to any of them for advice on like, hey, before I start making this movie, what should I do?
I remember Drew Goddard, who wrote Cloverfield, who directed Bad Times at the El Royale, and he and I have known each other from our Alias days. Drew probably gave me the most significant and important piece of advice of anyone, which was, when the day is done and you're done shooting, go home and go to sleep. He goes, people will want to go out to dinner, they want to grab drinks. No, don't do it. Go home, get sleep, because the next morning you're going to need to be fresh. And I'll tell you, it was the best advice I got. And I listened to it and I did it. And I'm so happy I did, because, these are very, very long days you're doing every day. And to then pile on going out after that and doing all, it just, it wouldn't have been good for me. So I'm always thankful to him for saying that. But the years of working with people like J.J. Abrams and Brad Bird and Pete Docter and Matt Reeves and all of these other wonderful, Tom Bazooka, these wonderful directors that I am so fortunate to have spent time with over the years. Like, it was like having a masterclass in all of this. And I got to watch them do what they do, and I got to go on set, and I love all of that. And I've always loved it. So I'd be doing it even if I wasn't directing. It's just filmmaking is just, I just love every aspect of it. So I feel like I had a really good bunch of years learning from the best,
Yeah,
that's a mature advice for sure.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah.
This film is filled with homages to classic monster movies. Was there a movie for you that just completely scared your pants off growing up, that you were thinking about while making it?
Yes. And in fact, our first day of shooting, I had the cast come early, and everyone left the soundstage. It was just me and the cast, and we were sitting in a circle in the set, the main set there in the room that from the film. And I asked each and every one of them, I went around and I said, all right, I want each and every one of you to tell me something that scared you when you were a kid. Let's delve into this. And everyone started telling stories about a movie or something that they saw that really, really scared them, and not only scared them, but stuck with them to this day. And once we went around the entire cast and everyone told their story, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to create that moment for somebody out there in the world, whether it's a young kid or whoever, that years later, they're going to remember this and they're going to, oh God, I remember when that thing, and I was so scared, or I had this, it's some image imprints on you. I said, that's what we need to do. We want to do that for people. But in terms of the films, like, I mean, the inspirations are wide and many. It's King Kong is one of my go-to, like that is the number one, the original King Kong is I remember is the one that blew my mind open as a kid, and it led me into things like The Wolf Man and Werewolves in London and, Creature of the Black Lagoon, The Mummy, Frankenstein, all of those things, all of those movies are a part of this. This is basically a love letter to everything that Universal did, everything the Hammer did, and everything that all of the monster movies out of Japan. Like, I was obsessed with those as well. And the reason was because the main characters, which were the monsters, were to me the most empathetic characters in the whole thing. Right. I always loved it, and I felt so bad for all of those monsters. And I had friends that would always be like, no, you got to kill those things. They're going to kill you if you kill them before. I'm like, no, these are essentially people with problems that need help, and I always felt very empathetic to that. So I love monster movies for that sort of allegory. I love the other big influence, I have to say, is Twilight Zone, Rod Serling, all of his writing. Like it got to the human, he told fantastical stories, but they were always centered around a very human topic, and to me, all of that is what I wanted to bring to this.
Yeah. And you see it, and it's wonderful. And again, Michael, from both of us, we just want to say thank you so much again for your time today. All the best with the premiere. And we can't wait to see what composer Michael Giacchino does and director Michael Giacchino does next. So
excellent.
Thank you. And
thank you so much.
Hopefully we get to have you on for a fourth time.
Sounds good. I'm sure it'll happen.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Just like that, we have turned back into our human form. No more howling at the moon. Aww. No more hairy backs and hairy claws and arms.
Or Harry Styles,
Damn, he was not in this movie. Yes, you're right.
He was not. I was going to howl. I was going to be like, oh!
During the interview, or just like in general?
I won't say. I can't disclose that.
Leave it to the audience.
Now I get to save it for a future interview. Why are you howling? That makes no sense.
We're doing a Little Mermaid interview, Daniel. Why are you howling right now?
No, it doesn't make sense.
No, but how do you think our interviews went, our conversations went?
Man, getting to talk to Michael, we had 10 minutes this time, which was, we technically had 10 minutes with him earlier this year. It's just the first 5 minutes was gone.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was awesome, getting to hear about his inspirations for this, getting to hear how, Michael Giacchino has taken over the composing scene in the last 20 years, but to now have him in the directing worlds. And, this is, he's worked on Star Trek. He's worked on another short film as well, too, Monster Challenge. And I would love to see more of him directing, because he has such a distinct style, and especially for Werewolf by Night, which is so different from anything we've ever seen from Marvel Studios. There's such a clear vision there and such a love for movies, and it just makes me excited. And I could totally see him, being that just being that next great director as well too. He'll be a composer and a director, and he'll just be, taking the world by storm. But he's just so cool to talk to, and hearing, his process, hearing his inspirations, it was awesome. Then getting, obviously getting to talk with Brian as well too, who just hearing what's it looking like with the future of Marvel Studios. There's so many projects in the works. Then obviously with Laura, just she's so great in this as Elsa. She's so fun. I'm just looking forward to seeing more of her in the future.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they were an absolute treat to talk to all of them, and hearing from Michael, really just that double duty that he was kind of pulling on this movie of directing it alongside also just composing this movie.
Yeah.
And Michael is, like you mentioned, Daniel, he's one of the best. He's one of the best in the business, and he will be one of the best for a long, long, long time. And to hear that score, it's just so haunting. and also get all the tidbits about, you know, how certain visuals kind of came together, how certain moments occurred.
That sousaphone on fire, you know,
there
like
we go,
who knew that sousaphone on fire would lead into such a cool Easter egg in the film, you know?
Our
That's
clickbait
awesome.
here is like The Simpsons and Werewolf by Night.
Bet you didn't catch this Simpsons reference.
The Simpsons predicted everything.
Top 10 Simpsons references in Werewolf by Night. Wait, what?
just one.
It's just one.
Just one. Damn it. No, but like they were an absolute blast. You know, hearing Laura talk is awesome because just she's such a cool accent, and I'm not going to try to imitate it.
No,
but just hearing her talk was great, and hearing Brian talk about The Sixth Sense, which is awesome because so many times when we ask people like what's their favorite scary movie, they go to like the ends of the earth to like find the oldest and most obscure movie. They're like, oh yeah, The Witch Doctor's Eye. I'm like, oh, when did this movie come out? It was made by a silent film director with one eye, and he only 6 people saw the movie. I was one of the 6.
Yeah, and it's also a biopic of him. Oh,
it's
okay.
a biopic.
Okay,
damn. Okay, but like. It was just cool to hear a movie. They were like, "Oh yeah, we know that one."
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, and it's cool. And then we'll, talking to the cast of Hocus Pocus earlier this week too. We got to, ask them a very similar question. So you get to see some cool videos that we made for that as well too. Shout out to Anthony, who's not on this episode, but shout out to Anthony for making some really cool videos.
He's, I believe, a werewolf at the moment, right?
He is still howling at the moon right now. Yeah, we haven't been able to. Here's the thing with Anthony. Anthony actually turned into a werewolf in the sun. So he's a werewolf by day.
Oh God!
Yeah, it's very difficult to line up our schedules because where's Anthony? He's just like running through fields,
he's just howling. Yeah, the sun is always the sun. Like it's never like, oh, it's a half sun today.
No, it's sun all day long. So he's a werewolf a good amount of his time. Yeah,
damn.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're just calling him Harry now. I feel bad.
Well,
but if we are, it's fine. He won't even listen to this.
There you go.
He'll never know.
He'll never know.
But again, huge shout out to Disney Studios Canada for allowing us to talk to these amazing people, and also for letting us watch Werewolf by Night, which we have our review out as well soon. And we can't wait to get into all the cool things about this movie. We can't wait for people to watch it because it is such a treat. It is such a delight. It'll definitely be part of your Halloween traditions for years to come.
Definitely.
We are the Movie Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. You can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. You can leave us a comment like all these lovely people that we've talked about so far have. And please tell us how you're feeling. Tell us what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show. And honestly, we're a work in progress. We're always going to keep working on it. If you want to write in to us, that's a really good place to do that. Would be the hello. Well, not the hello. Just hello at TheMoviePodcast.ca. You want to follow us on YouTube as well. That'd be really great. Give us a subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications when we drop new videos, because sometimes we don't even drop on the podcast app. And
what?
I'm referring to our Deadpool 3 reaction. That was strictly for the socials. So if you're not following us on these things, you may be missing movie podcast content, which most 9 out of 10 doctors, I believe, say is a crime. They don't even like they say it's a crime. They don't even say it's bad for your health.
No, it's an outright crime. You know, it's a crime of humanity.
They have to arrest you. They have to do a citizen's arrest on you.
Wow,
that's
a doctor's arrest. Imagine being arrested by your doctor. Doctor,
like while you're just sitting there, you're like, yeah, I missed a couple episodes of the movie podcast. They're like, get on the table right now. You're under arrest.
Can I just put on my normal clothes, or do I have to wear this backless gown still? Nope.
I'm not sure why you even wore the backless gown. We were just doing a simple cough test.
Yep.
Anyways, we're gonna get carried away, but that was this time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.